Good afternoon everyone, and welcome once again to another walk in Keep Your Woods. My name's Richard Hornby, and for the next 15 minutes I'll be taking you on a little walk down by the River Wear. Last time, as you may remember from a couple of weeks ago, we headed over this bridge and headed out to the east. Today we're going to be heading down this path to the west, and we're going to head through the woodland towards the riverbank, see what we can find for about 15 minutes. So it's a bit cooler than I thought it would be today, and the sun was out a few minutes ago, but now it seems to have clouded over a little bit and the temperature has dropped. But the birds are singing, and we're going to head this way to the east and see what we can find. Beech trees overhead, plenty of bracken. You might also be able to hear a bit of bird song. Holly tree just here. We haven't had one of those for a while, but you can tell the spiky leaves. Now, for those of you who didn't spot the special extra episode, which was released on a Thursday from down here in the woodland, I tried to find the Belmont Viaduct and didn't quite get far enough. Now, apparently I was going along the right path, even though it had thinned out a lot, and had I carried on for about 5 more minutes I should have got there. But, you know, we can possibly go and visit it in another episode. As you can see down to the to my right hand side, there's quite a bit more water in the river now than there was last time. Now, I don't know how far we're going to walk along this path, and it appears to have split into two, and I'm going to choose the riverside bit of the path. But this section of footpath goes into more open areas where you might see people fishing and things like that. Yep, we've got some people over there cleaning trees out of the river. And there's quite a lot of little parallel paths around here. So yes, we've got someone sort of clearing a fallen tree there. It's quite, as I said, there's quite a few parallel paths around here, so we may encounter people walking on other paths. But I think it's still a lovely woodland walk, and hopefully we'll be able to see some interesting things, and we'll also be able to see the landscape flattening out. I'll just give you a few seconds to look around here. See the landscape flattening out as we leave the steep-sided valley and into the slightly more open plains areas. Now, I'm obviously having to take quite a bit of care on this path because there's a lot of roots, branches and other things, but there's every now and again you get these little glimpses through the trees of the river, and I'm hoping nobody needs to go to the toilet because there's a lot of water sounds on this video as the river pushes its way through the rocks. If anybody's wondering here, as we're walking west at this point, the river is flowing from left to right. It's quite obvious at the moment. As we mentioned in last episode, these pathways are quite historic routes. They've been there for a fairly long time because they were used to access the bell pits, they were used to access the quarries along the route. So it's quite likely that you'll see some stones that have been embedded in the surface occasionally. This one here, for instance, is definitely not original, not natural rather. And these have been put in, and depending on how far we get, we might be able to see an old tramway route, but that involves us going quite a way. We might not do it in this 15-minute interval, but possibly next episode. Some dabbling ducks there. For some reason the zoom seems to be very jumpy at the moment, so apologies if that wasn't the smoothest transition to ducks. So we're heading west here. Just to give you an idea of the geography, this is the river carries on from here and ends up going past the Radisson Hotel in the centre of Durham if we head further upstream. And up to my left, on the top of this cutting, this embankment rather, is where the old railway, which is now the A690, used to go, and the 690 still does. So you might be able to hear some traffic noise from that. And we're heading down here. Once again, by the way, this isn't a wood, some steps, this isn't a woodland that I've explored very much, which is a shame because it's so beautiful. We've got a small stream and a couple of stepping stones to cross here, and then back up the steps on the other side. And I think I really should spend a little bit more time exploring this woodland, but maybe not whilst holding a camera up. Now we're getting to the point here where we're starting to see the woodland thinning out, and I'm going to say the valley becoming less sloped, even though it feels like it isn't, because I'm still on very much of a slope. But if you look over there, we can see everything widening out, and we're on the outside of a meander now. Again, I'm just going slightly steady because there's a bit of erosion on this path, and I don't want to get an early bath tonight. Now I can hear that there are some people ahead of me on the path, so we might... oh look, here's some more historic brickwork that's been put in the route. So I'm just going to cut this off for a second while these people go past. So we're back recording again, having let those people go past in a socially distanced way. I snuck up one of these little rabbit tracks to the side to let them go past. As you can see, there's quite a few of them. And as I say, we're coming out of this steeply wooded valley now. Probably got about 7 or 8 minutes left of film, into the more open land just outside of Keepier Woodland. And what I hope to be able to show you is an old route of an old tramway. Now this field has a little beach attached. It's quite popular with people playing. But where we're looking here, now if you just look at the landscape here, it goes down smoothly. There's then this section here that's been levelled, and then it heads over. So if we leave the riverbank and head up here through a group of flies, we are now on the course of an old tramway. As you can see, there's the beach down there that's quite popular with people and dogs, but we're going to head up the tramway and hopefully maybe get as far as the rifle ranges before the end of this film, which, as you might be able to make them out, I'll zoom in, are over there. That's where the targets were placed. So, and this is obviously, in case you're wondering, I believe these rifle ranges were for the local militia who were based in the drill hall, which is now unceremoniously under the A690, where Gilesgate Roundabout is, and was replaced by the Territorial Army HQ. And if you look at a view of that, a close-up, oh, we've got a swallow going over here. See if I can follow the swallow. This might be a hard one. There's a swallow. They say one swallow doesn't make a summer. We've got about 3 going round here over the field. Don't know if you can see them, but they're definitely there. But anyway, as I was saying, if you look on the Google Maps for the Territorial Army building just near the roundabout, you'll be able to see the old crest that was on top of the drill hall. Now, I'm hoping that you can see on this sort of wildflower field that the thing I'm walking on is really an embankment. And this is the course of the old mineral trackway through to Keeping Wood. Now, as far as I know, this was never traction engine. This was always, or steam engine, this was always a horse-drawn tramway. But you can definitely see how this area of land has been landscaped. So it's going down a hill, then we've got this little plateau, and then it heads down to the rifle range field with hundreds of swallows. I can see 5, 6 swallows, 7, all flitting around down by the river, clearly where there's a lot of flies. We've also got this area, scroll straight to the, this area over here is Newton Hall, by the way, in case you're wondering. And these are, this is the, they call it the rifle range field here. And one other thing you might be able to see up on the horizon is a lot of power cables. There's actually a training area for North East Energy Distribution. It used to be NEDL, I think it's now Northern Power Grid, and it's where they train technicians to fix overhead power cables. So a lot of these lines are just sort of test lines. This one over here is actually alive. The one on the metal over there isn't, but most of the ones over behind the hedge are just tests. And we could also see some cows over in that field. One black cow and several brown cows. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if the camera can pick up the swallows that are darting backwards and forwards through the fields here. They're hard to follow on the camera as they're quite fast, but I think it's a lovely place to stop and look at some scenery. So the river comes from my left hand side here. I've just stopped here just to let all these walkers get over the stile. Goes round a huge meander around the rifle range field and then heads into that steep valley over there. In the background you can probably hear, or I certainly can hear the dull roar of the traffic on the A690. So I think what we'll do is we'll just head over to that stile once the those people have finished, see what we can see behind that hawthorn hedge, and then head on. I really hope you can see the swallows. They're getting very close to me. Here's one just going through the trees now. And then we will One thing that is over here is the East Coast Main Line, and I can hear a train going past. I don't know if we'll be able to see it. There it is. It's one of the newer Zoomers in LNER livery. Take you back out, show you where that's going. So this is where the new railway line is, and this railway line heads on, and the train will curve away from us, just about there actually, and head to Chestler Street. The old railway line curved over behind this hill near where the prison is in Newton Hall, and then through the woodland to the viaducts that we were trying to find last time. So I'm just going to move on ever so slightly now. We've got another swallow there. And we can see the sort of agricultural areas of Durham. And to be honest, I think we could finish this video here and maybe pick it up at another point, no specials this time, maybe another episode, and come the other way to this field from over that stile. So thank you very much to everybody for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this little explore of the far side of Keepy Woods, as it were, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday for our live studio show. So from me and the swallows, goodbye. If you want to get in touch and submit some submissions to your corner, you'll be able to see the information of how to do that on the bottom of the screen now. And remember folks, as always, once you've finished watching the video and having your tea, remember to wash your hands and stay safe. I leave you with a view over the rifle range towards the river. A heron in shot there. It's flying away from us. And I'll see you on Friday. Have a good day. Goodbye.